All right, so we're back with another JJK review. This time about JJK 267. Now, I'm not gonna beat around the bush. I'm just gonna like hop straight in. Like, I should have give you guys like foreplay, whatever. Like, talk about the whole chapter and whatnot. But let's just talk about like what happened, and that is Nobara's back. Now, people are like divisive about this. I kind of get it. People are calling like Disney Kaisen. This is dumb. Yada yada yada. Me, I don't mind too much. I think most things are cool, to be honest. Like I'm very easy to please somewhat. When things are like really bad, just like ew, gross, I'll call it out for sure. But like this right here, I'm not tweaking too hard about it at all. Like it was kind of, I won't say, I'll say foreshadow. Like it was never really confirmed. That's what it was. It was like, oh yo, we're gonna do our best to save her. Then at that point, no one really said in the manga, I'll say, that she was dead. Gege, I think, at an interview, she said, yeah, she's with Nanami or whatever, something like that. Like she's gone with him. But like in the manga, from what we read, she's never been dead. It's been like a few months past since like Shibuya or whatever. So it makes sense that her coming back or being healed or whatever, that makes sense. Especially like in this universe, too. We gotta understand like these guys are magical sorcerers. You know what I mean? They use magic to heal people and whatnot. You can like lose an arm, heal that up. People get their necks chopped off. A lot of crazy stuff. Like if her head was like blown off, like Nanami or whatever, okay, cool. Her coming back to life makes no sense. But her getting like, a headshot, losing an eye, skull exposed, I could see her coming back from that. I could see her survive with the magic they have. Like with the magic they have, like the universe set up so like fatalities like that can't happen, someone can't come back from it. Now, should they come back from it? Is that good writing? Someone does come back from that? You can debate on it. I feel like we kind of got like a reaction to that with the Yuta Gojo situation, with Yuta taking over Gojo's body. Like people were like, "Oh, Gojo came back." People were okay with him coming back, Gojo coming back to life. Like, oh, because of like reverse cursing or whatever. Like, okay, Gojo came back to life. That makes sense. Yuta taking over Gojo's body. That makes sense. We don't like it, but it makes sense. So I feel like it's the same situation with Nobara. Like, people don't like it, but it makes sense in this universe. Like, what's a good example? I'm trying to think of an anime that has like death and like death is like real. I can't think of one. Oh, I'm blanking right now. Actually, what's a good Gurren Lagann? There we go. That's a fantastic example. So with Gurren Lagann, like if someone dies in Gurren Lagann and they come back to life, like near the end of the series, will make no sense. There hasn't been like an establishing of people coming back to life. Like people's wills and whatnot, you could like in the afterlife connect with them, but like people coming back to life, that's not a thing. That can't happen. So in that universe, it doesn't make sense. But in this universe, someone getting hurt real bad then coming back to life, that makes sense. And that can flow well. Execution wise, different story, but it does make sense in this universe for someone to come back to life. So that's me, I'll say caping for this idea. It getting hate makes sense, but I'm not going to just go on and say, oh, this is a horrible, bad decision, because it did lead up to usually getting his chance to freaking, what's his face? Almost, I think, put the end to Sukuna. I think he's going to beat Sukuna at this point. So now, chapter as a whole, we talking about that. Everything makes sense for why things were going on. For example, using his gauntlets. I thought for sure the gauntlets were just useless. They made no sense to me. Like, I get like how in Shonen nowadays, like you got the editors want to show like the protagonist, get an upgrade, like some way to show like, hey, the main character got stronger, whether that be like a transformation, a new weapon, something like that. Yuji hasn't had that anything like that for like the entire series. So like near the end of the arc, that was like, hey, yo, give Yuji like something to show that he got stronger, or like the fruits for his training. Give him something. So I think the gauntlets made sense because it also played into him missing 2 fingers. Because that then, now going back to the beginning of the chapter, it was like the whole team talking about how, with Yuta's curse technique, he has to consume someone so he could copy the curse technique. So the plan was, hey, we give Arika Yuji's fingers because they're in Sukuna's curse technique. Then me and Rika could copy the technique, and you could still leave Sukuna's finger where it is, which they showed at the end of the chapter, which now makes sense because that made Nobara be able to use her technique, resonance, to like do damage to Sukuna to give Yuji that opening. So like everything kind of played out pretty well, for which it all like allowed pieces to come together. Because I feel like, again, comments made no sense, but now they did make sense, because if Sukuna would have saw Yuji missing 2 fingers, be like, what's going on here? Why is he missing 2 fingers? I chopped off 1, which she acknowledged, like, oh, wait a second. Nobara, that girl from before, she's still alive. Boom. He would have got that, would have made like a contingency plan for something like that. Or whatever. He's Sukuna. So, all in all, plans made, a lot of things were coming together. Plans started to make sense. I like that. That was pretty cool. It felt like it usually like the final Black Flash, I believe, on Sukuna. That was dope. Overall, cool chapter. Cool chapter. Controversial. I feel like, it might be a little bit more controversial than like the whole Yuta Gojo thing. A little bit more, but not as much. I feel like kind of tied. Like the same reason Son coming back to life. Or, or not deceiving me. It's like with the whole Yuta Gojo thing, like we actually thought Gojo came back to life. Then we saw the next chapter was like, oh, it's just Yuta taking over Gojo's body. So it was like to see then like, oh, wait a second, this is kind of eerie or gross. Because again, they just rather have a character be dead. Like, people, I feel like for this manga, like, they liked it because like death felt real. Like if someone died, like he's like, oh snap, death felt real, things can happen, So someone dying and then coming back to life, that kind of, takes away from it. And I think that's why we're getting these feelings right now. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the chapter. Pretty cool. I will say, when it comes to this whole fight, I really do like how Sukuna is a big bad, but I will say that I am upset that we never got to see Sukuna at full power. Like we always see Sukuna having different means to like get his body back, have his powers, but he's never been like at a full 100%. He's always been like hash shenanigans, nerfed or whatnot. So I feel like with this, Gege kind of missed the ball with giving us like a fight with, full power Sukuna going all out against, the cast. Sukuna's always been like nerfed or, not his full strength. And I feel like we should have got like a true Sukuna form hanging there or something like that. Even like a flashback or something, just to see if Sukuna is full power. So I feel like with most shonens, like with the villains, I think we should always see the villains like at their max potential, never just nerf so hard. It's like we get, with our MCs or like, the old, it's like, the old geezer who's like super strong but like not in his prime. We get that. But when it comes to the villains, I feel like we need to have the villains at full power or at least see that. With Sukuna, he's always been at, weird levels of power, like not at his full strength, kind of like, example, I have a good example. If you guys, got toasty again. If you guys watch Dragon Ball Z, this is off of a streamer too, Seth the Programmer. He was saying like how Sukuna kind of felt like Semi Perfect Cell. If Semi Perfect Cell, just absorbed a bunch of people and fought Vegeta and got really strong. Like that's what Sukuna feels like. He's not at his final perfect form. He's at that middle ground, but just got like super broken. And the cast is struggling against Semi Perfect Cell. But we always know like in the background, like, hey, this guy could be perfect, even more strong than he is right now, So I feel like that was a mismark with Sukuna. Like we know he's strong right now, but we never got to see him at his full outright potential. So that's one thing you can complain about Sukuna right now. But overall, like it really just shows like how strong he is currently compared to what he could be like at his full potential, But yeah, that's it for this, review and talking of 267. Overall, show vibe. I liked it. Nobara coming back. It was kind of hype. Once you saw like the finger at the end of the 266, then the cutaway to like them talking about like using the fingers and stuff like that. Then you cut to see Nobara too. And then even her line when she came back, she said, "Rejoice, she's back." That was kind of tough to me. I can't even lie to you. Like that was a tough line. I liked it. I'm glad she's back. We'll see how the next chapter goes. We have like what? This is gonna be like 3 or 4 chapters left for JJK. We'll see how it goes, but yeah, fun time. I'm enjoying myself. Yeah, it's kind of, you could say Disney Kaisen. I understand that sentiment. I'm not fully behind it, but I get it for sure. But overall, fun time. I'm just rambling at this point. I'll talk to you guys later.